Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning! Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning! Happy Tuesday to all across the Delaware Valley. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, and we're presented by Rite Aid. RiteAid.com for our local pharmacy and the one nearest you. You can check it out. All your scripts and all your last-minute stuff you need for the house at Rite Aid. All right. Fun show for you today. We have with us Cooper Dejean. That's right. Cooper's going to join us coming up at 10:30. You want to be here for it. What a kid, man. He's just sensational. This Eagles defense, and Baldy's going to join us at 10 o'clock today. Cannot wait to talk to Baldy about it. This defense is so special. It's amazing. You know, after the bye, and ever since Cooper has been a part of this defense, they're the number one ranked defense in the league. They're number one in points allowed, in yards. They're number one against the pass. I mean, it's unbelievable how this whole thing has come together. And I'll never forget, after the Tampa game, I was completely confounded by what's going on. And you wondered, hey, Vic, what's going on, man? And you go, because the one guy we had faith, I thought we all did, going into the season was Fangio, right? You wanted to play that defense, his scheme. Well, he's the godfather of it, right? He's the creator of it. And, that's a guy that you had faith bringing him in. It wasn't like last year with Desai, who was trying to run it. You got the real thing. And it's almost been a euphemism for how they play each game now, right? Where first two drives, the first script, the other team has a little success, and then they just clamp down, right? Then they just shut it down. And that's what it's been like the whole season, right? First couple of games, you went, I don't know, Green Bay with Love, went up and down the field, Tampa, even the Falcons had success. And then ever since then, it's during this winning streak has been a thing of beauty. Now, the kids have come alive, right? Like the secondary, let's go back to front. And the secondary has just been special, right? When we talk about Quinyon, and again, they threw to his side 4 times. Listen, that's Lamar Jackson. Right? I mean, Zay Flowers. That's legit offense. He's so good. And you saw when he went out, man, they tried to go right away and pick on him, right? That is a big deal. And then you got Cooper in the middle of the field. What he did with, against Cooper Kupp, what he did against Jamar Chase, and having a tackling presence in the middle of the field is so crucial. And then, we talk about Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean at linebacker, and it just doesn't get any better than Jalen Carter right now. I mean, he is all pro. Listen, defensive tackles are so valuable, and I think over the last 10 to 15 years, you've kind of seen the emergence of the DT. It was always about the edge guy, always about the end. And the tackle was just, the big fatty who would just clog. A great defensive tackle anchors your defense. And this is what you're seeing with Carter. He's an anchor of the defense. He's playing he played almost every snap the other day. He played every snap against the Rams. Like, he's just always on the field. And he's such an anchor. He's such a disruptor. And so this whole unit is great, and it's young. That's the thing that I keep going back to, that they're a young defense, and they're this good now. Oh, my. Like, hey, this thing, and if you have a defense, like, we always talk about it's an offensive league, but if you have a defense, I mean, just look at Sunday. That Ravens offense is probably a top 2-3 offense in the league, right? Ravens, Lions. I mean, you want to, whatever one you want to put up there. And they clamped them down. Like, they really, and they frustrated. And that's the mark of this defense. This defense frustrates you. We saw Stafford frustrated. We saw Burrow and the Bengals frustrated. I mean, look, it took them that long, epic drive, not giving up big plays. I don't know if you saw the game last night between Denver and Cleveland, right? There's big plays left and right. You know, forget the pick sixes that Jameis threw. He did throw a couple bombs, right, that were touchdowns. Same thing with Bo Nix. Like, they were going back and forth with big plays. This Eagles defense does not allow the big play. It's designed to keep everything in front of you and force the offense to matriculate down the field. Because the thought process is, hey, the more plays you run, you're going to have a negative play. You're going to have a penalty. You're not going to execute. That's the laws of football. The more you run, the more imperfect you're going to be. So that's the basis of this defense. Now, I like attacking defenses, like we've talked about it. But this defense is so ridiculously effective. And when you have these players and these young players, it just bodes for, to me, a Super Bowl, right? Like, because now you have the weapon to get stops. And we think of defense now in just about stops. Because let's face it, on offense, with Barkley and A.J. Brown, and you're going to get Devontae back, you know, they're going to score. They're going to put up points. We saw it on Sunday. It felt like they shut Saquon down. He had 107 yards and a 28-yard touchdown run. Right? Like, that's shutting them down. Like, how amazing is that? So when we're talking about defense, it's just a matter of stops. So if you get the stops on that side, on offense, you're going to score. It's a great recipe, man. It's a recipe that wins. It really is. All right. Again, we'll talk to David Murphy from the Inquirer. It's the Inky column this day. We like to hear their voices and what they got going on. So we'll talk to Murph. We got the Brain, Baldy, and Cooper Sharp going to join us. Looking forward to it. VG, good morning.
Happy Cooper Sharp Day.
Stoked for this, man.
So,
I don't know what I'm more excited about. Coop coming on the show or the Sixer sign of Pete Nance?
Jim Nance?
I wish. I'd rather have Jim
Hello,
Nance.
friends.
Jim Nance.
Hello, friends. Listen, this defense.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how it's all come together. And the way it's built, it kind of explaining how it keeps teams from those big plays, those huge chunk plays. It's been wildly effective with their secondary and then Carter up front.
All starts with Carter up front, man. But yeah, the secondary, and you're talking about how young. It's crazy that Cooper is 21 years old in this league. Quinyon 23, Nakobe 23, Carter 23. They can't even rent cars.
I mean, it's
ridiculous.
It's really unbelievable when you look at the youth of this defense. I mean, listen, Howie Potter.
Yeah, give it to him, man.
Howie Potter.
Give it to him.
I mean, you want to talk about, beaming up a defense. Wow.
And you gotta, the kids this year have changed everything. But I mean, Vic is Vic has been on it. I was a little suspect with him coming out of Miami, but he is on it, man. He's perfect for this crew.
Well, you know what's weird? Not weird, but I think is interesting is that I guess he didn't play well in Miami, and Miami has a pretty veteran defense.
Yeah. A couple superstars.
Right. And they weren't feeling him.
Mm-mm.
Whereas this group that's younger is right there lockstep with him. It's like it's that grandfatherly. There's Howie Potter.
Well, he's missing like an arm on his glasses.
It's
Hey, I made it really quick, all right? They're magical glasses, all right? They
That's
say
right.
right back.
He
Magic
sees-
glasses.
Yeah.
He sees the draft pick through those glasses. But I always love the human relationship, right? So you have the older, grizzled football guy, right, in Fangio,
Seasoned vet.
yeah, and who's
Seen it
really
all.
connecting with the young players, right?
Yeah.
And Jim Johnson did that. I think it's the mark of a really good defensive coordinator, the older, grizzled guy who's got the hard exterior and the soft innards, right? How they connect with the young player.
Yeah. Take him over Palladium, get a little pasta with them. But there's
Pasta?
yeah.
You're not getting pasta at the Palladium.
For Vic, that's all he eats is pasta, isn't it?
No, but you're not getting pasta at the Palladium.
Maybe he brings his own.
No,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I just
They don't
picture,
have pasta
I picture
at the
him in the
Palladium.
bag with a big plate of pasta and
Yeah.
meatballs.
Well,
and the kids around
There's
him.
a lot of kind of Italian to you. There's a lot of joints that he could go to. Meatballs.
What is going
Give me
on?
spaghetti
You
and
don't-
meatballs.
you don't do
That's
meatballs?
the- Yeah, but not in that way.
A big plate of spaghetti.
Oh, come
Fat
on.
meatballs.
No, you can't go spaghetti and meatballs.
I'm only 13%, and I know that's wrong.
I
Come
can't
on.
follow all these rules you got.
The idea of the old grizzled guy and the young, superstar, the young kids coming in is a great story. This is the story, and then remaking it. Like if you're Zach Bond, you're completely loyal to Fangio. He made he helped unlock you,
Yes.
unleash you.
Yes. There's just, would they be undefeated if Cooper Sharp started from day one? It's been insane since he's been added to this lineup, the starting lineup.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it has. You know what it is like the middle of the field. We're going to talk to him about this. Like Jamar Chase, that was a big tackle, 4th down, right? Cooper Kupp, work in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Is a big deal. And having somebody, I can't tell you the last guy that the Eagles had that physical work in the middle of the field. I mean, honestly, and I know he's a nickel, he's a slot corner, but, that's Dawkins. He's got the physical presence of Dawkins.
He reminds me of the show we watched growing up, The White Shadow.
Yeah.
Anyone he's covered, man. He's
He is
shadowed.
the white
He's right
shadow.
there, dude.
Dude, that's a great line.
He's right there.
He's just a great kid too. Him and Quignon, him and Mitchell, man, 2 great kids. The culture, and this is where you got to go back to Sirianni. Sirianni, you could talk about X's and O's and some of the time early in the season with the game management. He has established a culture that works. The players love him.
They love him. And he's shown some maturity since that Cleveland game, and he's keeping their heads right. Their heads are focused. They're not, he's making sure they're not smelling themselves after these big games. And he's been great. Yeah, you got no complaints with Nick after week 4.
No. And again, it's providing, to me, it provides that culture. That culture is a big deal.
Yeah. And Vic is, I can't gush over Vic enough. I think he's been just such an addition. He should win Coach of the Year. I think someone in the chat said it yesterday. He should win Head Coach of the Year. Just whatever award they give to the top coach, it should be Vic Fangio this year. Because what he's done is,
I mean, in all fairness, he's returned it. Think about how rudderless, and you got to give Kellen Moore credit too, because you think about how rudderless they were on both sides of the ball because of the coordinators. They had grit. Listen, sometimes you're too green. You're not ready to be a coordinator. We saw it with Desai. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
And then, you saw it on offense with Brian Johnson, who I think is a smart guy. He's got a lot of good, concepts and that. But sometimes, first-time play caller, you start to swim. You also have, you're dealing with a young quarterback who's unique.
Yep.
Right? Like, I got to give Kellen Moore a ton of credit on offense, right? What they did for Jalen, where like Baltimore's defense is really difficult to figure out their coverages. And so they scaled it down and they went back to just like a read option, play action. All right. Mm-hmm. And then you go play action and give him the single read to throw the football. And it worked.
Yeah. He's simplified it. Like Jalen has been perfect as well. Him and Nick. Perfect the last
all you got to do
5, 6, 7 games
is just run the offense, right? Yeah. Like don't protect the ball, don't get in the way, and
game manager.
And there's nothing wrong. Like
people say it's
people
like an
hear
insult.
that like he's a negative. Like,
no, not at all.
No, like you need to. Jared Goff is a game manager. Like you got, you manage to win. Like that's what you're supposed to do. And play point guard. It's funny if you say play point guard, people don't get offended. But if you say game manager, they get offended. But he's playing point guard, right? Like, get rid of the ball, run it when you need to run it. Like he'll run it himself when you need to run it.
He's our Mo Cheeks. Perfect.
Yeah,
right? Not too flashy, but steady and solid and like a key piece.
That's phenomenal.
It's like Mo was just steady in there when you needed him, and that's what Jalen is right now.
That's a pretty good comp. Mo Cheeks. Mo Cheeks.
Jalen Mo Cheeks.
I haven't thought of Mo Cheeks in a long time.
No. Good.
You busted that out.
When I think of point guard is Magic and Mo. That's it for me.
Yeah. No, I feel you. But I think, getting back to the coordinators, you've seen stability, right? Like, stability is a big deal. And now there's legitimate talent on that side of the ball. Go through the line. Like Jalen Hunt, he's showing some flashes, dude. He's showing flashes like he could play.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of a sudden, you look around the Kobe, right? You turn around, Nolan Smith showing flashes.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, the young guys.
I've been telling you, Anthony, these kids got high motors. High motors, that's what we love. Jumped off the tape when we saw them, these high motors kids.
Well, I love the video going around now of Howie. When he thought that he was going to lose Cooper.
Oh,
at the draft.
Yeah.
That's been making the round. Yeah. And then the minute he found out they weren't taking him, he got the pick in like in 3 seconds. Cooper Dejean!
Jumping up, kicking his heels.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, man.
He's 21 years old. 21.
In this league, that's bonkers.
Dude, I'm watching the Denver-Cleveland game last night. And, that Derrick Henry commercial comes on. Mm. And, it's like home and auto. And, he's lifting up trucks and he's pulling a living room set and the whole thing. And, big truck tires. And it's Derrick Henry. And, oh, my God, I went back to that hit. Cooper Dejean laid him out.
Yeah, someone's got to do a mashup of that commercial and just splicing in that hit again and again throughout the commercial.
So it's funny you said that. All I kept thinking about is, how do I do that? Right? Like I wanted to do something, right. But I don't know editing. I can only write. I can't figure it out. I wanted to figure out where I wanted to go. Well, that would be a great meme or whatever the frick that stuff
That'd be great.
I know. To have Cooper,
I might be able to work some magic and figure that out.
So lifting a card and boom, the hit comes in.
All of a sudden,
figure something
and then you see Derrick Henry just kind of roll backwards. But what's cool about that hit is he, it's a perfect leads with the shoulder, right, and then he lifts, right, and he lifts and then he plants, and man,
what's he do? He lifts and then he plants.
Yeah, well, wraps and he lifts and he plants. Right? Like, that's what it is.
Do you just want to see the play again? I could pull it up.
Yes, please. Fred,
Give me a second. I'll
please,
grab
Fred.
it.
I need Coop. I need the play.
I'll grab it.
Nothing gets me more pumped up than that play, man.
We got interns here. Can we just have Anthony tackling interns?
I got Joey.
Demonstrate. Yeah,
Poor Joey's already. He had a skateboard incident.
Yeah.
Right? So how many stitches you get on the face? 7 stitches in the face. He looks like Rocky.
We got a helmet for him, I think.
Yeah. Let's go, Joe. All right. Oh, say it. I got to bring Anthony in here because he's hard to bring down now. It's Johnny Marks. There he is.
Looks like he's going to Siberia with that coat.
I know. You get the big coat. He's got the coat with the fur.
What is that?
He's
One
got
of
the
those
big giant
Canada
coat.
Goose coats? Yeah, fancy guy with the Canada Goose coat on.
Where are you going to Russia?
Look how big that coat is.
Look at this coat. So, give the
I got to go up the steps at 5:45 in the morning and climb 7 flights of steps.
Yeah. He's got the beard. He's got the coat with the fur. You look like the Revenant.
Do I look like a commie?
You look like the Revenant, man.
Is that a good thing there, VG?
Yes, it's a good thing.
Yo, Cooper Dejean, you kidding me?
Yes, Coop's coming on in an hour. 10:30.
I can't. I'll be watching.
Yeah, he's the best. He's that Coop. This play. How about that play? Where's that play rank? I mean, you think about singular plays, singular tackles like Dawkins,
Sheldon Brown.
Crumpler, right?
Pull a chair over. Stay for a while.
Right? Dawkins, Crumpling, Algie, Crumpler.
Here, I got it for you guys while you talk about it.
All right. Let me say it, please. Look at this play, Johnny Marks. Damn! There it is, the celebration.
Yeah, it's like the Sheldon Brown hit was a bigger hit. That's just a textbook
The Reggie
tackle.
Bush, yeah.
Yeah, that's just a textbook tackle. I mean, he came up. He's got, Henry has 50 pounds on him or something like that, 40 pounds on him.
Yeah.
And he just drove him right into the ground. He is, I was watching his basketball highlights from high school last night. The dude, he could look like he can dunk on a 12-foot rim. The athleticism of this kid
It's freakish.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he's not just hey, I'm going to throw my body at a defender and go head first and knock him down. Textbook tackler, great form. This team hasn't missed a tackle, it feels like, since earlier in the season when they missed tackles left and right.
Dude, it's uncanny. Because last year, listen, they've always been a bad tackling team, right? Now, a couple things changed. Sirianni actually tackles now in practice, right? Like, he's hitting in practice. On Wednesdays, they tackle, which is great. And then here you have Cooper, who's coming from Iowa, where all they do is tackle, like every day. That's their defense, which is impressive. But they were they used to drive you nuts how bad tackling they were.
Horrible. You saw at the end of last year, they couldn't make a tackle. It's amazing. It feels like the defense started the transformation when he came in and became that slot guy and got on the field.
Yes.
Because I don't need to see Avante. Avante's a nice guy. I don't need to see him for many snaps every week.
No, dude, that's exactly right, man. Dude, this defense is ridiculous.
I of all the things that I thought was going to happen this year, I did not see. I thought Nolan Smith was a potential bust candidate. I didn't know if he could even be a rotational guy.
Yeah.
No, he can play. I mean, every young player on this defense, Cooper Dejean. I don't know if he could stay healthy and he could play.
He was tackling air for like 3 games.
Man, I'm just like everything. Like you look at the drafts from Howie over the last couple seasons. Hit. Jalix Hunt is already a rotational player.
Yes.
He was a Houston Christian
Baptist. Yes.
What a steal. What a find.
Yes.
Last year. So, man, it's exciting.
And Carter's just elite. He's elite. He's an anchor.
Even when they're holding him on every play, which the Ravens tell him on every play.
Yes. There he is. There's Johnny Marks.
So I have a black jacket that isn't as heavy, but I was wearing blue today, so I can't wear black and blue. So this is
Oh my God.
It's one of those ones you.
I can actually tackle all of that. And with the beard, he's got the Clooney beard.
You got multiple winter jackets. You color coordinate with your outfits.
I do. What? I have a green, more like a pea coat.
I don't own a winter jacket.
He's a meat locker. He's a man.
I just don't own one.
Bro, I live in the Poconos almost. I'm not living South Jersey or in the city. I'm in the Poconos. It was 15 degrees when I woke up
There's
on
the
Monday.
comparison.
Hey, don't knock over my water on your way out.
Oh, dude,
right,
you're
well,
the greatest.
Well, listen, I'm looking forward to hearing what Coop has to say.
Thank
right?
you, Johnny Marks. We
Ray
love
from
you,
Philly wants
buddy.
to know if it's Gore-Tex.
It's not Gore-Tex. Feel it. It's not Gore-Tex.
Yeah.
That's a nice jacket. I mean, really. I mean, the fur. I mean, looks good.
It's about the
You know,
climate.
he looks like he's in the Alps.
He's in the Alps, yeah.
Yeah, you know, he's not in Poconos.
At least I'm not wearing a fake fur jacket like somebody in Philadelphia media used to wear. All right,
You're
guys.
the man. Thanks, Johnny Marks. There he is. All right, let's talk to you about some of our friends, shall we? Yes, let's talk about Golden Nugget Jewelers. Golden Nugget Jewelers, 8th and Chestnut. It's the holidays, the sprint to Christmas. You're looking for a gift for her? Look no further than Golden Nugget Jewelers. Right on 8th and Chestnut, the heart of Jewelers Row, Center City, Philadelphia. All you got to do is walk in, see my man Yaron. He's got you covered, whether it's diamond earrings, diamond pendant, right? You want something design, all that stuff. Or if you're in the market for an engagement ring, you'll get the whole ticket at Golden Nugget Jewelers. He'll give you a whole education on the 3 C's, the cut, the clarity, right? The carat, and fit in with your budget. And then you can pop the question. Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, whatever you want to do it, it's right there. Golden Nugget Jewelers. Go to goldennuggetjewelers.com. Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged.
And give a little shout out to our friends over at Rite Aid. Because it's flu season. It's everything season. It's winter. Protect yourself and your family by staying up to date on your immunizations. Rite Aid pharmacists are certified, trained immunizers, and most of these vaccines are free with your healthcare coverage or government plans like Medicare Part D. Rite Aid pharmacists can vaccinate you for pneumonia, tetanus, whooping cough, chickenpox, RSV, which is that highly contagious seasonal virus that affects the respiratory tract. They got your COVID-19 vaccine still, and shingles, which is a painful rash caused by the same virus that causes chickenpox. So if you had chickenpox, you are at risk of shingles, so you might want to think about a shingles vaccine. Select Rite Aid stores have dedicated pharmacists ready to administer vaccines and answer all your questions. Like, are you up to date on your immunizations? Are you nervous? They'll walk you through how it's nothing to be afraid of. They'll take time to make personalized recommendations based on your health history. No questions are too small. Just walk in or schedule an appointment Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. State, age, and health restrictions may apply. Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for more details.
All right, there you go. This portion of the program is brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. I got to tell you, just talking to John about that defense, I mean,
I never thought we'd have it.
number one, like they're the number one defense since the bye.
Yeah. I thought under Lurie we would always have like the streamlined, nice offense. I didn't think we'd see again where we have the hard-nosed, great defense.
What's amazing about it is not only do you have a defense, but it's defense and a run game.
Yeah, right. What are we, 1987?
I mean, Saquon Barkley and a defense. Like this one was hard to figure out, right? Like this one took you by surprise that they lean all the way in to a run game and defense, which is my dream because I just think you win that way.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they got to the Super Bowl basically, right? They focused on that run game. The defense wasn't as good, but it was the run game.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just think, man, if Saquon's in his 7th year, if he would have had any kind of offensive line up in New York, my God.
Well, not just
his
that,
numbers
too.
would
Like,
be
here's the other thing,
insane.
too. Like, if you're playing with somebody like A.J. Brown, right?
Mhm.
You're playing with somebody, it just matters, right? Like, you have a pass game, right? Like, imagine that. He is such an elite back. Like, watch and just watch how quickly he explodes. You
And
know,
the size of him. He's not a tiny guy.
no, and that's the thing that it really stands out is how he just explodes through the line. I brought this up earlier, but it's worth repeating. 107 yards, and it felt like they did their best to shut him down.
Yeah, he didn't have a great Saquon game. It didn't feel like.
Right, yeah, like That's how
he didn't have a couple of 70-yarders.
Okay, so that's how skewed we are.
Right.
He rushes for 107 yards, and you're like, well, he didn't have a great Saquon game. Like 107 yards in today's NFL?
Well, and against that rush defense. Do you remember Brain's telling us this is number one? He's going up against.
He wasn't lying.
He's going up
The
against the
brain was
Andre
right.
the Giant of rush defense.
No, the brain was right. The Ravens are known. They have a great run defense.
Yeah. Well,
It was their secondary that was vulnerable.
there's just no offensive line running back
Iron,
combination.
sharp, and iron.
Yeah, we have the best combination of offensive line and running back, and there's no one even close. These offensive linemen are pushing the D line like 5 feet back. Saquon's barely getting touched at the line of scrimmage anymore.
That's the thing that stands out. Like when you're watching it, we'll talk to Baldy about this coming up at 10 o'clock. But when you're watching that line, he doesn't. He has holes to run through.
Yes.
And if you're getting Saquon into the second level,
and his burst,
that's what's so
his burst there is like he's got
because he does have the great burst to get through.
Yeah.
Right, that initial burst, and then
the breakaway, his quickness.
Right, like you just get the feeling that he's always one or two misses from taking it to the house.
Well, think about I don't know, I don't have the greatest memory. But has he been chased down by a cornerback on any of these breakaways? And those guys are all high-speed dudes.
No, he doesn't get chased. He doesn't get caught from behind.
No, it's wild.
No, that's the one thing that never happens. He doesn't get caught from behind.
People are saying you might need to back off, take a cold shower, get off the caffeine a little bit before the Cooper Dejean interview. You might be coming in too hot with your intensity today.
I know.
Does your quad say you have, is that 4 shots of espresso in your coffee?
Yeah. What?
There you go, people. That's why you say it up.
Well, no, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I love my just black espresso. All right.
It's like a quad.
It's delicious.
It's like liquid jet fuel.
One of the things is that when we talk about Barkley in the run game and the O-line, and to me, the biggest difference is Becton on the right side in the run game. Having Becton and Lane on that side,
they're behemoths.
I mean, not for nothing, right? Like, you're not expecting Becton. And I'll never forget, early in training camp, we talked about this on the show because I spoke to someone down there who said, dude, we love Becton at guard. Like, he's starting to look pretty good at guard. You remember me saying it?
Yes.
And those two, man, you want to talk about.
Like giants.
Yeah.
Guards are 6'3" guys, 6'4", maybe. These guys are he's 6'7".
And he's a behemoth, he's big, and he's a road grader. Usually the guards are athletic and all. Yeah. He's a lumbering dude.
Yeah, usually guards are kind of interchangeable with a center. There's no way Becton's playing center.
No, and he's got that. They're like double mountains.
Yes,
on that side, it's like Appalachians. You're running through the Appalachians when you go to the right side.
And again, man, I think I bring up Stoutland a lot. I don't know if you can bring him up too much, but the technique and having Becton make the transition, you got to give Stouts a lot of credit for that. The whole new position.
No.
He might be an all-pro. He might be an all-pro guard.
I mean, I think one of the things that you see is their coaching. Their position coaches are really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mark. When you have strong position coaches, and I saw that with Andy, right? All their guys. I mean, you can say what you want about Castillo as a defensive coordinator. Yeah. He was a good O-line coach, right?
Yeah.
They had, good linebackers coach. I mean, Spags was a linebackers coach and defensive back coach for a while. Or McDermott was the D-backs coach. Look at that staff.
Yeah, and I think what we saw last year was a younger head coach with way too new coordinators.
Yeah.
And the experience.
You gotta have guys to lean on, man.
Coordinators. People have been through it.
Especially when you're calling plays, right? You're trying to call plays. That's just what it's about. You gotta know what position, you gotta know the feeling, right? There's a lot. When you're play calling, listen, I give Kellen more credit because it feels like the offense is moving with him. Like, there's been a couple things. I mean, I know we talked about Jalen's audibles a little bit, but I don't know. I think the play call has been pretty good.
Do you think the way the offense runs? I mean, they're like a top offense, but the way it runs, do you think that keeps Kellen Moore here? Like, he's not flashy or inventive.
Oh, as far as getting a job,
yeah.
I
Do you
think
think he's not on the radar for people as a head coach or something?
I think I think you're going to see a little bit of a change from the offensive guys.
Yeah,
I think you'll see a little bit
more
of change.
complexity coming.
Yeah. I know. I think you're going to see more defensive guys get opportunities.
Yeah, you would have to.
But I mean, look at it. Like, look at guys that are
whoever's coaching
winning.
the secondary,
Right? But look who's Dan Campbell, right? Like, Tomlin, Peyton is back, has Denver back. I mean, I think you're going to see more defensive guys. McDermott.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting that the defensive guys are winning.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, might be good for your boy Spags.
Yeah.
I don't think Vic's going anywhere, so we're lucky there. He's just too old at this point, I don't think.
Yes.
So we'll be lucky with that.
Yeah. I'm with you. All right. I guess we're having trouble getting Murph. So if you get Brad, we'll just go to Brain. All right.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I'll just give Andrew some heads up there, and then we'll go right to the Brain to check it out. One of the things that I can't wait for, it's funny. You got Carolina coming up, and then you got the Steelers, and then you got the division games. And I mean, can it be that, can they run the table? I mean, that's almost unthinkable. But they're going to beat Carolina. Pittsburgh is good, but
Pittsburgh is a sneaky good team. You're like, all right, they're good, but then they come out with these wins. I don't know. They're like a trash team.
Russ is playing well. I don't kind of know how.
4 touchdowns this weekend.
Like, I don't know. Like, listen, Pickens go up and gets it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's me. Like, I just look at him and go, all right.
I feel like that every week, and I'm like, wow, they're in it. And
listen, I think they're good. Like, their defense is good. They can run the ball. You got 2 backs. And I think Russ gives them enough down the field to make stuff happen.
Yeah. So
right?
I don't want to just gloss over that game because
I'm not glossing over it.
No, but that's their last chance. And you know what? The Commanders are playing better. Maybe Daniel's ribs was bothering that game against us. Maybe they put up a fight, but
that game's down there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Because Carolina's here, Pittsburgh's here.
Yeah.
Right. Dallas is here.
So, I mean, they should be favored in every game going out, right? I would expect.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all,
15-2.
They have to be favored,
right?
I mean, by even if you look at their closest game will be Pittsburgh.
Even if that was on the road, I think they're still favored.
Yeah, they're definitely favored.
Yeah,
So
15-2, wild.
Like, did you like? I mean, my wildest imagination.
And there's no.
I thought 11. Going into the season.
Yeah, I was like 10 or 11. Yeah.
My number was 11. I mean,
and Detroit's going to lose at least one or I think that Detroit might lose 2 games coming up as they finish out the season. They got a tough road, and they got a ton of injuries.
Well, listen, it's all about Thursday night.
The big game.
It's all about Thursday night.
Yeah. I think they're going to lose against the Packers. I have a good feeling.
That's the game. If they're going to lose, I know they got Buffalo. But Buffalo's in the dome. It's not, if that game was at Orchard Park,
it's over. Slam dunk, yeah.
But the game's in the dome. So, and then you got to go, and then their tough road game isn't as tough now because they're at San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So they go Packers, Buffalo at home. Then they go to Chicago. That's a trouble spot. They could lose that game.
Chicago been playing better.
I mean, are they going to win 3 consecutive? Green Bay, Buffalo, at Chicago?
No.
There's got to be a loss in there.
Especially they're so banged up. They got like 10 guys injured.
I know. They got it. They got to do that. All right, we got our man Murph. We like to do our Inquirer voices of the Inquirer. What's that?
A little.
David Murphy, we love him.
I got
He just
a
made
little.
that big. You make that figure eyes got really wide.
No, my camera has a little like dust on it, so I was just dusting it off there.
A solid ping hat today, Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, man. I didn't feel like combing my hair for you guys.
Yeah, dude, I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. Let's get right to it because I want to. We only got a short period of time. Let's talk about the emergence of this defense. It's such an incredible story. In fact, we got Cooper coming on at 10:30. So that hit is the hit it's the hit of the season, man.
Yeah, I mean, I said all throughout the draft process, I said this guy is going to be a total legend in Philadelphia. I mean, he was doing this at Iowa, his entire time there. He's an amazing. He's really a safety in the slot, is what it comes down to. And I really think he's been the biggest difference, really, in the run game. And their run fits. I mean, just having him on the edge, kind of filling a lane there is I think that's very undervalued on this defense.
Well, the middle of the field. I mean, having someone that is physical in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Is there, like you saw it? It played out against Chase on the fourth down. It played out against Kupp because Kupp does all his work in the middle of the field, and he was hanging all over him. I mean, Murph, like when you look at this defense, it's young and it's probably the best defense in football. I was looking at it. You got, we talked about this before. Kansas City's leaking oil. I was, in fact, I talked to Spags last night. He's talking about injuries, right? Who else you got defensively? Pittsburgh is really good. I put this Eagle defense at the top of the list.
I'm with you. I mean, legitimately, the only concern is the lack of an edge rush at times. I mean, I think that was as good as they were against Baltimore. I think that showed up at times. But that again, we're picking nits here. I mean, everything else on this defense, you would trade a little bit of an edge rush for the two cornerbacks that they have right now. I mean, those guys have been absolute difference makers. And look, you have to give fans. I mean, Jalen Carter too, obviously, is a complete freak of nature. I mean, he changes the game as well. And Vaughn has been an absolute jackpot. But give Fangio credit. He didn't panic at all in those first 4 weeks when people wanted Sirianni fired, people wanted Fangio fired. And look, there was reason to be skeptical, especially after that Bucs loss. But he Cooper coming back has been a big deal. But also just look, Bill Parcells used to say you don't know your team until Halloween or something like that. And you got to learn your guys. And the best defensive coordinators, they have schemes. Sure, they kind of have shells that they work within. But the best defensive coordinators are figuring out, look, who's my talent? What do they do well? And how can I leverage that? Within my overarching philosophies, and Fangio has done that. And I'll say this too. I love the fact that he sits in the box.
Yeah, so do I.
I mean, that was Jim Johnson did that at the end of his career, more by necessity, I think. But I honestly don't understand how these coordinators, are down on the sidelines. And I know your boy Spags is down there, and most of the guys are down there. But you can just see, like, I mean, if I was a coordinator, I would want to be looking at a chessboard, and really seeing things unfold and seeing it from that bird's eye view. And Fangio, seeing him up there really just, if nothing more than the optics, it makes him seem like kind of the Wizard of Oz up there.
That's a great. You're right. It's a great visual. I think, I had a conversation with Spags about that. He likes to talk to his players. He likes to be close to his players. He can see. He thinks he can see enough. He gets the shot on the iPad, so he can still see it.
Right.
But you get that kind of really close proximity to your players. Hey,
it's just funny,
the thing
because I've always thought about it, and so I respect guys who are up there because I would want to be up there. Like, I don't want to be down in the field. I want to be able to see it all, and I just feel like So I think Fangio, if nothing else, I feel like he's a bit of a kindred spirit analytically.
Yeah. Well, and listen, that defense is the analytic friendly defense, right? It's the keep everything in front of you. full disclosure, I've never been a fan of that scheme, right? Because I always like a more attacking defense because I think you change the scope of the game when you attack. But that said, you see the value in it when it's deployed correctly. And Fangio is the godfather of it, right? So you look at it, it forces you to matriculate down the field. The Bengals drive, the Rams drives. At some point, teams just they commit a penalty. There's a turnover. It's just it's the laws of football that you're going to make a mistake.
But it also comes down, I mean, and I think your boy Spags is kind of the best example of this. I mean, he has general concepts, obviously. His is more of attacking defense, a blitzing defense. He comes from that Jimmy Johnson scheme. But, I mean, the Eagles shredded him in the Super Bowl. And that defense, that defense was a question mark his first couple of years in Kansas City. And now all of a sudden, it's really grown under his watch. And as they've kind of added players and fine-tuned guys, and McDuffie obviously helps a great deal. But I mean, it's a completely different defense now in Kansas City than it was 2 or 3 years ago when it was like middle of the pack to liability at times. Whereas now,
I mean, he had they didn't invest any money in it. Like he had all the money was on offense. Yeah, it was. It was. It's Andy, so he's gonna spend on offense.
Yeah, I mean, but they have the talent now. I mean, he's drafted, consistently. He's gotten his guys in there, and I think, with Fangio on a much shorter timeline, that's kind of what we're seeing. Where, look, if you don't got the Jimmy and the Joes, the X's and the O's don't matter. And I think Fangio needed a month to kind of figure out what he was working with, getting Cooper Dejean back, getting Quinyon Mitchell up to speed. And I mean, Brandon Graham is, Jalix Hunt was all over the field the other day. And then Bond has just been, again, an absolute revelation.
Well, that's Howie too. Like, we talk about drafting and marrying, draft and scheme and your coaches, like your football ops being on the same page. And the D-backs, right, and Carter allow Fangio to run it to make his magic.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the offense where you've got, look, I think Saquon Barkley, if the MVP has any meaning whatsoever, it should probably be Barkley's right now. But, if we're talking about value, and the argument is the quarterbacks are more valuable, you can also, watch that game. A.J. Brown's the most valuable player on this offense. He attracts so much attention. And Barkley's really kind of 1A there, where you've got two guys on offense that teams just like can't stop. They're just freaks of nature that the entire thing runs through. And Jalen Carter is very much that way on the defensive side of the ball, where like you just can't, you have to account for him. Like you can't stop him, and everything kind of builds off of that. Similar with Embiid, when he's in his MVP form, where it's just like Embiid, it's just this like gravity. Yeah, exactly.
Who's that?
There's just this gravity, and they've got a number of high gravity players on both sides of the football, and it's really opened things up for both sides.
Yeah, it's the truth. All right, listen, we got a late start, so we're kind of up against it.
My fault.
What are you working on?
I'm actually working on. I'm going to argue that the NFL really needs to create an award. Maybe name it the Saquon Barkley Trophy, because if the MVP is going to be most valuable quarterback, which maybe it should be, you need like a Heisman type award for a season like the one Barkley is having. So I'm going to flesh out that argument and make the argument.
I will say this though, and I have to say in good conscience, Allen is the MVP. I mean, if you take Josh Allen off of Buffalo, I mean, they're not right,
but that's the whole. But you can, like, if you take two off Miami, like they're worse than the Eagles would be without Saquon. But what does that really mean? It just means the award doesn't mean anything.
Well, but Buffalo's a Super Bowl team, right? So if you go from Miami's not. So if you go from Buffalo as a Super Bowl contender with no Josh Allen, listen, I'm with you with Saquon. I just, in good conscience,
I'm with you.
I would argue that Allen would be. If I was voting, I'd have to vote Allen.
We'll say,
and
all right,
Saquon too.
Here's the counter argument to that. How many other quarterbacks in the league are there that Buffalo would still be a playoff team or as good as they are without Josh Allen? You could argue Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert.
I don't know. They play a different style. I'll be honest with you. Like they're not throwing the ball down the field. they need him to be like a super back, right? Because he's
I
not
agree.
just a quarterback. He's scoring touchdowns, and he's got kind of like what Jalen does in some ways.
Just to be clear, I agree with you. I'm just making the argument, and I think the argument for Barkley is that while there are 2 or 3 other quarterbacks in the NFL who are would be having the same season as Allen with the Bills. You could sub Mahomes in there. Would they be any worse? No. If you sub Herbert in there, maybe Burrow, whatever. Barkley, I don't think there's any other running back at his position in the league that's doing what he's doing, and I think it would be a dramatic step down from him for the second best season at running back. And to me, I mean, that's your argument for MVP, where he's having.
We saw it last year with Swift, right? Like, who's not horrible, but look, you throw Barkley in there, and wow, you say it. So it's a good. I can't wait to read.
I'm with you, Allen. Obviously, Allen's the MVP, but Tua should not be in front of Barkley. Goff shouldn't be in front of Barkley.
I think he's too. I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you. I look forward to reading it, brother, as I always do. All your work. Thanks, pal.
All right, man.
Here he is, David Murphy, Inquirer. Let's go to the brain. Brain.
Red, the brain finder.
There he is, the one, the only Bet Park Sportsbook online casino. He is the maven. He's the brain. Brain, we got Cooper Dejean on today. And I'm very excited because the play of the game was to hit on Henry,
Yeah,
and
of course.
like the Eagles' defense is so interesting that they're a run. Think about it, Brain. They are a run and defensive team. When would you think that they would be a team built on the running game and defense?
Again, you got to give him credit for adjusting because getting Barkley has changed the entire team. It really has. Last year, I think they got away from their success, where they had, good running backs or good running games before. I feel like last year they went maybe a little bit too pass happy, and I don't think they utilized the run enough, even though Swift's nowhere in the same category as Barkley, not even the same category. But I think, Anthony, you would agree with that. Starting from when Andy Reid was here, and I don't know if you would know better than me because you obviously have the contacts, but I feel like Jeffrey Lurie, organizationally, the approach from Andy was here was pass, and when you're done passing, we're going to pass some more because maybe it's analytics, maybe whatever it was. They just wanted to be that kind of team. So to do what they've done definitely is a huge change. I feel like organizationally as much as anything else, but I respect that. Again, when everyone's zigging, sometimes you have to zag if that's the best chance for you to win. And they have clearly shown, Anthony. By the way, what is the best defense? When you're on the field less, right? On top of anything. And by running the ball, having timed long drives, it helps your defense even on top of having a good defense. So to me, everything that they're doing, you just have to give it a round of applause, in my opinion.
Yeah, round of applause, my brother. All right. Curious, the couple things real quick. The conference championship games are out. Have you dove into the college football weekend?
Yeah, no, I have. I definitely have. Well, look, we talk about that right now if you want. Penn State game, Anthony, is a game that obviously a lot of here local people, let me bring it up on the Park site right now. They have 3.5. I did bet this game, Anthony. I did bet Penn State. I took 4, but I even like it at 3.5. Anything above 3, I like. So I thought the line should have been 3. Look, Anthony, we keep seeing week after week, right? We keep seeing the parity in this sport as it levels that the Ohio State, by the way, the Ohio State game, sorry, that was.
Dude, congratulations.
I
buried the lead yesterday.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
What's funny? And again, they were down 10-3, and I made a live bet in Ohio State. I'm like, all right, look, they're going to beat this team. It's just a matter of they're not just going to keep running the ball every play and getting no yards. They're going to have to realize they have these great wide receivers. Michigan's great against the run. But it's funny. I've never been so happy to lose a bet in my life. Never been so happy. But it was interesting watching Ryan Day. I really believe he got in his head from all the thing. You're not as tough as Michigan. You're not as tough. You're not as tough. So they just, sorry, we'll prove it to you. I honestly, in my own head, Anthony, I think I'm 100% right on this. So I don't think there's a 1% chance I'm wrong. They went away from what they do well to prove a point that they could out-tough. I
So
enjoyed it so
stupid.
much.
So stupid.
It was so stupid. It's like they did exactly. And by the way, Martindale goes, we couldn't believe they were doing this. He's like, they did exactly what we wanted to do.
Well, and Ryan Day, it's funny. Last year after he lost, he scapegoated his quarterback.
And now look what that quarterback did, Anthony.
Look
what that quarterback did.
I love
Had
the kid.
Best year, arguably, of any quarterback, arguably. Right?
Yes.
He was right there. And it's so great to look. I don't mind. This is the one thing I'll gloat about. I just love when Michigan beats Ohio State. Nothing finer than that. But going back to
McCord goes to Syracuse, beats Miami, throws for like 1 million yards. Yeah. And I love that kid. So I was happy because
he was really good. He got unfairly, I got to tell you, he played in that Michigan-Ohio State game last year, Anthony. And we talk about, I always say, how can tomorrow's newspaper read? Michigan beat them by, I think it was like 24-21, 23-20. They beat them by a field goal. The difference was Michigan kicked a 53-yard field goal. Ohio State missed a 48-yard field goal. You flip that, Ohio State wins by 3. Also, Ohio State fumbled at the 1-yard line. I mean, I'm just saying so many things that can happen, but people just look at the final score. And I'm always thinking not the final score, but just who should have won, what could have happened, not actually the final score as much. But he got scapegoated because of that final score. And look at the downgrade for him to Howard was massive. But the parity, Anthony, we're seeing in college football, the highest it's ever been. So I'm inherently liking, just any kind of margin games. To me, it's tough to lay points in these games. The Georgia-Texas game, Anthony, this is something I'm just going to say, and if I'm going to be wrong on it, I'm going to be wrong on it. They played last time, Anthony, and I remember I bet Texas. I bet Texas's team total over.
Yeah.
I know you like that with me, and Georgia just stoned them. Georgia's best performance of the year. Anthony, having watched Georgia too many times to hit the count, I just don't think this team is good. I think Texas gets the revenge.
I agree.
I bet it big.
Yeah.
I bet it big.
Yeah.
I laid the money line laying $1.25 at the open just because I didn't want to deal with any points. But even laying 2.5 right now on the park slate, that's my game. I'm just going to be like, I just don't think Georgia's good. I just don't. I really think Texas, at least defensively, should have success against them. And I think Texas gets the revenge. It'll be close. We're not going to blow them out, Anthony. But I like that game very much.
I'm with you. Hey, real quick, anything on tonight you got?
Yeah, I do. I got a couple props which I think are worth doing. Christian Braun, ex-Kansas player, Anthony, on the Denver Nuggets. He is 14-4, averaging 16 points a game. So what are they? I'm sorry, he's averaging 16 points a game, and they made his over under 12.5. He's 14-4 to the over. Why are you making it 12.5 when he's averaging 16?
Yeah,
I don't get these things, but the sports books say just copy each other, and it gives you a chance for an edge. Christian Braun over 12.5 points is fine play. Next, Cade Cunningham, Anthony. This guy's gone over 8.5 assists, 11 straight games. He's averaging 10.5. Look. The guy's, I'm not going to buck that trend. He's at 8.5. He's done it 11 straight games, gotten double digits. I'm going to take Cade Cunningham over 8.5 assists.
Love it, Brain. Love it. The great Brain. Our buddy, Brad Feinberg at Brad's Best Bets. You can check him out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my brother. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Cousins Corner. Thanks, pal.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
We'll go through it. All right. Let's talk about the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. This is the great time of the year. Pro football, college football, stretch run. That's it. The perfect time to bet futures on the Bet Park Sportsbook and online casino app. You're in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, or Ohio. Bet right now on who wins it all in the NFL and college football. $25 wager on the top 4 to win it all in the NFL. Lions are the favorite. 25 pays 80. Then you got Birds, KC, and Buffalo. All right? 25 pays 125 on the Birds. College football, Oregon is the favorite. $25 pays out $87.50. Next is Texas. 25 pays 100. Ohio State, 118.75. Georgia, 137.50. Notre Dame, my pick. $25 pays 200. And then the Nits, $25 pays $118.75. You got to be 21 in PA, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio for the Bet Park Sportsbook and online casino app. BetParks.com has terms and conditions. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, man, I don't know if you're like me.
Hey, man.
But when your partner says, something's wrong with the house, it's instant pressure, stress.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't fix anything.
I get it every day.
I don't know what to do with anything wrong with the house. So our friends over at Ace Hardware, they got the home services now to help you get through these tricky situations. You got a leaky pipe. You got an air conditioning issue. You got a faucet you said you'd fixed last fall. Still ain't fixed, still dripping. Well, Ace Hardware, they got people for you. That's their slogan. We got a person. They got a person for everything that could go wrong in your house, from plumbing to heating to cooling. They've got trusted pros to keep your house humming all year long. Ace Hardware Home Services, they're bringing helpful home, the helpful you love, from the store now to your front door, with trusted, experienced, qualified people to do the job right the first time, so you ain't got to worry about it. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at www.acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project and cross that off your list and make your life a little more relaxed.
There you go. Ace is the helpful place at home. All right. This portion of the program brought to you by TrueMark.com. TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out the credit union difference at TrueMark.com/PHLY. I know my friend Kelly Baldy, who's the CEO at TrueMark. She's loving. She's a huge bird. She's freaking out right now.
Cooper.
I was saying, yeah. Oh my God. Well, yes, Cooper Dejean coming your way in about 30 minutes. So we're looking forward to talking to Cooper Sharp coming up.
Cannot wait.
Another one I can't wait for is this man right here to go through it all. This incredible defense, the author of Baldy's breakdowns. Here he is, Baldy.
Baldy. Oh, let's talk some football. Baldy. Oh, he likes meats and football.
Oh, Baldy. Oh, Baldy. There he is, the legend. Dude, we got to jump right into it. This Eagles defense, I mean, you and I sat there all last year talking about a team that couldn't tackle. We used to talk about it at length, and it used to drive us nuts. They couldn't tackle. And it's a complete 180 now.
180. Well, I mean, they got a linebacking core now in N'Kobe and Zach. They tackle everything. They hit everything that moves. They got two rookies that both tackle great in Quignon and Cooper Dejean. Reed has always been a good tackler. He just, he had some trouble staying on the field. They've increased. So, and then they don't break down on the back end of their defense. So assignment-wise, they're good. So, guys aren't just running through space where you got these, incredible athletes and you got to get to the ground. They squeeze everything. Their zones are very, very tight, how they pass things off. The responsibility is communication. Communication is a big part of it. And then they have a very demanding coach, that's just not going to tolerate, dropping your head and not wrapping up. And so you saw the effects of that against a really good offense on Sunday.
There's no better play to illustrate it all than the play. And you did it great, which is Cooper on King Henry, slaying King Henry with a textbook tackle, right? Like, I teach the kids to do it, my kids, right? Lower your head, lead with your shoulder, wrap, drive, plant. It's beautiful what he did.
Well, I mean, you have to make a decision on Derek. You got to go low. You got to get his legs. If you don't get his legs, he's going to truck you. If you go high, he's going to just throw you off. So, I mean, it's a textbook, but that's the way he tackles, though. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Derrick Henry or if it's this week, against Carolina.
Chuba Hubbard.
It's not Chuba Hubbard. It's not going to make any difference. He's going to tackle him the same way.
Well, and, the beauty, Baldy, is, just the textbook Iowa, like you know this like better than because we love it, is like Iowa football. Like they're just all about defense. Like that defense he played on 2 years ago was sick, right? I mean, they had no offense. All they had was their best weapon was defense, and they just shut you down. And Ferentz and that old school program was all about run the ball and defense. Lo and behold, that's the Eagles. Run the ball and defense.
Well, you could watch any Iowa game in black and white. You would, because that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Might as well just be in a wing tee. I mean, what does Iowa turn out? They turn out tight ends because you can't get on the field unless you can block. They turn out tight ends, offensive linemen, and they have scrappy defensive players that know how to stack, shed, get off blocks. That's what that program is. I mean, that's the longest tenured coach in all of college football by a lot. And that's what he preaches. And that's what his sons, that are coaching now. That's what they preach. And so that's the way you do it when you're at Iowa.
Yeah, I love that. Part of like Cooper's identity comes from growing up in a place like outside of Iowa City in the rolling plains, as a kid who just wants to go into the backyard and play ball. Like, I love that. He's a supreme athlete too.
Well, I mean, that's what Tyler Linderbaum is. I mean, he's from a small town in Iowa, just the same. That's what Tristan Wirfs are. I mean, all these guys, you saw Tyler on the other side. I mean, state wrestling champion. I mean, you play football or you wrestle when you're in Iowa. And you probably do both, and if you do, you're probably, one makes you a better player in that sport. Football makes you better in wrestling because it makes you tougher, and wrestling always makes a better football player. You just go through the league of guys that were state wrestling champions. I played with Tony Siragusa, state wrestling champion. Ron Heller, state wrestling champion. Ray Lewis, state wrestling champion. You just go through the list of these guys. In Pittsburgh, they drafted 2 state wrestling champions. Zach Frazier, the starting center, and Peyton Wilson, the star of Sunday at North Carolina State wrestling champions. Just track it. You never go wrong.
Dude, you don't even know this.
Here we go.
He doesn't even know this, right? Yesterday, I was at Dick's Sporting Goods getting wrestling shoes for Anthony because season's over, right? And I go, dude, now you got to wrestle. And he goes, okay, Daddy. Like, he listens. Yeah. I'm like, it's going to make you a better football player. Like, it's going to help you shed blocks. It's going to make your hands better. It's good. Okay, Daddy. And like, he's been hitting. He's squatting close to 400 now.
Well, the thing, that's fantastic. I mean, for that young, that's unbelievable. I mean, that's just core strength, natural. Just wait till he really develops. But, the thing is like, I was a lifeguard in the summers growing up. And all the lifeguards on Long Island were all athletes. So we had a lot of wrestlers that were also lifeguards. So in our lifeguard room, we had a wrestling mat. All right. You want to lay down, you lay down on the mat. You want to take time off when you're off the stand, you wrestle. So I learned early on in this whole thing, never ever go to the mat with a wrestler. Never. No. I don't care how big or strong you are.
No.
You're going to get, and I remember Eddie Fioravante, 155 pounds, right? Middleweight. He freaking put me on my back so fast, tied me up like a pretzel. I'm like, I learned my lesson. Goose used to try to wrestle with me, and I'm like, stop it, man. I'm not doing that with you.
No, those kids are tough.
I'll block you on Wednesday. I ain't wrestling with you on Friday afternoon. It ain't happening. But what you learn, honest, you want to tackle, that's every 2 down. Every 2-point takedown is a tackle in wrestling on the mat. You learn tackling and you learn leverage. Leverage is the most important thing. Low man wins. Everything you do is with your knees bent in wrestling.
It's great. This is a stone meat locker conversation, man.
It really is.
It really is the greatest. All right. So where are they? Look, we're in this stretch run. I can't believe that here's a team that's built on a running game and defense. They go down to Baltimore, and that's a good run defense. And listen, they slowed Saquon down to a $107. Like, he still runs for 107 yards. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but for the fourth time this year, he busted a touchdown run in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So here's what's happening. Like, I mean, obviously they're down 9-0. You go, here, another slow start. But if you're a run-first team, that's what you're going to get. I mean, think about it. You come out of the tunnel, everybody's jacked up. All right, everybody, we're going to hit our gaps, we're run fits. Like, we're going to, so you kind of get stuffed a little bit. They hit you on a blitz on a third down. You don't convert it. You're off the field. And so you get these slow starts. But the good thing is they're not getting away from it. And so if you stay with it, it's just a matter of time. It's like chopping a tree. You just taking swings with the axe. You just keep taking swings with the axe. In fact, the play that Saquon scored on, 25-yard touchdown run off the right side, they ran the play before, the exact same play, the play before, and Jalen kept it and went for 11 yards.
Yeah.
They come back. This time they hand it to Saquon, and he goes 25 yards. So you get to the fourth quarter, and it's a close game. It's 14-12. It's anybody's game. The run game pays off, and you're getting explosive plays out of the run game right now. And so that's their formula. And, Jalen right now in this 8-game win streak is averaging 21 passes a game. Like, it's nobody is even close to that in this whole league. But I've been tracking it every week. There's 8 really good teams in this league that all run it more than they throw it. And so that's the formula right now. And you're not turning it over. In fact, you look at a team like the Chargers, they've turned it over 5 times. You take a look at even like Baltimore, that runs it 30 more times than they throw it. They've turned it over 9 times. So the turnovers are down, the wins are up, and now we're in the stretch run. Who's going to stay with it?
How do you match it up? Like, when you look at Detroit, now they have a tough stretch, right? You got Green Bay Thursday, then you got Buffalo, and then at Chicago. So that's 3 tough games that the Lions have. They're a little bit banged up. How do you kind of look at this matchup going for the race for the 1 seed?
Well, I mean, they've lost 2 starting inside linebackers in the last 3 weeks. Malcolm Rodriguez is a heck of a player. He's done. Yeah. Alexander is out. Pascal's out. So Zadarius stepped up a little bit, but they've really been weakened in the secondary. Carlton Davis hadn't played in a while. They're taking guys off the street. So
Anzalone was a big loss.
Scoring.
Yeah.
No, their offense is legit. I mean, they can score on anybody, go up and down the field. Now, Green Bay will be a good test on Thursday night. They both get a week's rest, so it's like they're still on the same schedule, being that they played on Thanksgiving. But, I mean, what's going to happen in these games is, in a normal game, you get 12 possessions. Okay? Now, how you score in those 12 possessions. But when you get a game like Philly and Detroit that want to run it, both run it a great deal, you might get 8 possessions.
Right.
You might get 7 possessions.
Right.
We saw a game this year, I forget which one. The Eagles scored in their opening possession, but it was in the second quarter. 17 minutes
Cincinnati
went by before both. Okay. So Cincinnati had the long opening drive, right? Philadelphia gets it, and they drive. They kick a field goal on it. But, you're into the second quarter. You've had 1 possession. Now, that's why you can't turn it over in these type of games. Every possession is maximized. Then you put Nick on the spot. Does he go for it on 4th down? Or does he just play the long game? Like, all those things in a sudden death type situation really come into play.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, like where they're at. And I can't imagine they were so committed to throwing the ball. And I know Jeffrey really wanted to throw it, and that's, there was a legendary game where it was a short week against the Packers, and Doug was the coach, and the Eagles won by running the football, and Jeffrey was not thrilled by it. He wanted fireworks, and
his son runs the analytics department, so they're big. They've got a team of 5 or 6 people over there.
Yeah,
but this 8-game win streak started after the bye. And you can track this thing. It's so easy. Like, you look at them in the first 4 weeks of the season, 2-2, right? Blown out in Tampa, Bye week comes, and they completely changed the offense. All right, so it's feeding Saquon, it's Jalen's runs, let the offensive line go to work. That's it. Now let's just play smart defense right here. Let's not give up big plays. Let's communicate. You can see it all the time. We're not going to give up explosives. We're going to tackle, and we're going to control the game with our front. Jalen Carter played every snap. No defensive tackle in this league is playing every snap. None.
No.
It's not even close. It's 2 games in a row now. He's basically played every snap.
Hey, dude, what'd you think of Dave? I thought Jordan Davis played well Sunday.
He's in the rotation in there. Everybody, Nolan's.
I mean, listen, I like from Jalen Hunt showed something, but Davis, who I kind of wrote off, I was like,
look, the talent is there.
Yeah.
Now, is the conditioning there? Is the pass rush there? They're not asking him to do those things right now. So he's on a rotation. He's on and off. And so, he's still a big body that's hard to move. And you're going up against, if he's going up against Patrick McCarry, he's got McCarry by 80 pounds. There's just a big physical mismatch inside right there. And so, in a game like Baltimore, which really kind of pounds the belly of your defense, he should show up in a game like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Baldy, can I ask you, we're talking about the D-line. It seems like to us as Eagles fans, Carter's getting held on every play. When you look it down at his offensive lineman, do you see a lot of holds on him not being called?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's every great player. He looks back at the referee after, ALLCITY tackles him to the ground and seeing if he's going to get any calls. But the guys are so big right now, honestly, that these choke holds these guys get themselves in when they throw a rip, they're not calling. Unless the guy goes to the ground, he gets tackled. That's all they see. They don't even see the choke anymore. Everybody gets choked. Max gets choked. Myles Garrett gets choked. They all get choked. But the only way you get the call is if you go to the ground. And honestly, you might get it, but I don't want my defensive linemen on the ground. I want them on their feet.
Right.
You're going to make plays on your feet. You're not making any plays on the ground. And so I see these guys go to the ground looking for a hold, and they're not getting it sometimes. And you're like, stay on your feet and be a football player, And so, honestly, if you had to construct the perfect defensive tackle, it probably would be Jalen. He's literally a refrigerator from the waist down. His base, you can't get him off his feet. His balance is crazy. And then his suddenness and his burst, he had that Zay Flowers fly sweep. He just jumped out of his shoes and made that play for a 4-yard loss. You're running that play because you don't think a lineman's going to be able to either get there or see it. It's going to happen too fast. Man, he saw all of it.
Yeah, he was at Lamar's feet. He messed with his feet all day. Usually it was interesting because he kept backing up, and he kept seeking space, Lamar did. Because normally, he gets some space, and then he can move, right? He can move left or right.
Yeah.
You're
step
right. And they didn't let him do that. And they took away. He couldn't step up. He couldn't climb the pocket at all.
No, he had some runs. He made some plays. They didn't get anything deep down the field, though. And that's when he scrambles and runs, that's usually when he gets a big play. Outside of the throws to Mark Andrews, which were just great catches, in traffic. Contested catches in the end zone, whatever. He really didn't get much down the field in that game at all.
Hey, real quick around the league. Man, that Bo Nix is a player.
Oh,
wow. Wow.
Well, what's funny is, I do a bunch of stuff for ALLCITY in Denver. So I watch all their games. I'm going to go on with them tomorrow. So, honestly, the first 2 weeks of the season, he couldn't complete a pass to a wide receiver. He couldn't get him. He didn't know how to throw a back shoulder fade. He didn't know how to throw a timing on a comeback, nothing. Now it's bombs away. The throw to Marvin Mims against an inverted Tampa 2. He reads it perfectly. Denzel Ward missed the throw, 93 yards. He's getting the ball to all the receivers. Devon Vile is a rookie. Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, this Lucas Krull, who's a free, Sean just knows how to coach.
Yeah.
But you can see this team is he's just getting better and better. And I don't know who's the best rookie quarterback right now. but it's good because Washington's having success, Denver's having success. If Chicago gets their stuff straightened out, Caleb will be successful. We need good young quarterbacks, and we've got 3 really good ones right now.
Yeah, I've been enjoying him. I know we've been talking a lot about the MVP and stuff like that, but watching Josh Allen Sunday night in the lake effect snow, and my God, I mean, what they ask him to do, like I'm trying to think, has there ever been anyone that physical at that position?
Well,
I mean, Elway back in his day, but nothing like this.
Elway, but he wasn't Josh Allen. He couldn't do some of the things that Josh Allen, but that would be the only comp really right now from a size, physical standpoint. But the thing that makes him special is, okay, you pay Diggs to go away. He's your go-to guy 4 years in a row. You won 4 division titles with him. And they're like, okay, make it work with Shakir. Make it work with Kincaid. Make it work with Keon Coleman. Like, they're not even on the field, those guys, Kincaid and Coleman, and it makes it work. Like, the guy, and he's got – I just remember last year when Buffalo came here, like after Thanksgiving, and it was raining the whole day. And I'm just walking, I'm doing my Baldy's walk before the game, and he's got a hoodie on, right? So I walk by because I didn't really recognize him. He had a hoodie on, and like I walk by him, and he hits me, and he goes, "Hey, you ain't gonna say hello, Baldy?" So I'm like, "Hey," so I see Josh, so I start shooting the shit with him, and I go, "Hey, Josh, this might be a game where you just run it every down. Like, it doesn't look like this rain's gonna let up." And he goes, "Fine with me. Let's run it every down. I don't care." Like you can't get the smile off the guy's face. He just got engaged, beautiful girl, got his life in order. Like, this is his life. Like, he's making snow angels with the coach, after the game. Like, they're having that's part of this whole industry, is giving guys that are having fun, because it radiates to the team and to the fans. Now the fans want to have fun, and it's got to start with your quarterback, I think. Like, Mahomes obviously has been that guy, but he just radiates like confidence, fun, what football should be about. Who cares how much money they're making? They're just having fun out there.
Dude, I'm so with you. All right, listen. Extended Meat Locker Thursday, all right, where we're going to dive into everything. You have your assignment yet for the weekend?
Yeah, go to Minnesota. Land in Minnesota, Kirk Cousins. Like I was telling the guys up there after the game that Kirk Cousins had, I'm like, just play Michael Penix. Like, he's going to be a better player. Just put him out there. He's going to be a star. And they lost last week because of Cousins. He was terrible. But Minnesota is – I mean, they got out of that game against Arizona by the skin of their teeth. But they've got a roster of guys. Like, I talked to Aaron Jones last week and Justin Jefferson and Sam. They've got fun guys on that team that really love the coach, the organization, playing there. They're going to be this postseason tournament now. Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, Philadelphia. Pick your teams. Seattle. It's going to be wild, man. It's going to be a wild tournament.
I love it, Baldy.
Yeah,
Thanks, brother. You're the best.
Oh, you got it, cousin. Yep.
There he is.
I'll talk to you Thursday, man.
Thursday, extended Meat Locker, because we got the Coop coming up. We got the Cooper. Wow. Yeah, this is going to be a great tournament, man. Great playoffs, man. Are you kidding me? All right, let's get started. Why don't you hit us with a little True Mark?
Yeah, man, because True Mark's got a good program going on right now. I grew up with no financial training as a kid or through school, and True Mark's got this new program called the Greenlight Account, which can help your kids learn some fiscal responsibility. If you got kids, True Mark's got the ultimate playbook for technical financial responsibility with this free Greenlight account. It comes with a Greenlight app, and it's really changing the game, helping teens and kids learn how to earn, save, spend wisely. They can set up savings goals that they can work towards. You can track their spending and even get an allowance all right there in the app. And here's the super cool part. Each kid gets their own debit card, so they can learn to make their own purchases and manage their own account. And you as a parent, you can supervise it all and make sure they don't get crazy. And you control it all from your phone. You get peace of mind. They get the freedom to make smart decisions with their money. It's like coaching your kid through their very own financial game. And for True Mark Financial members, it is free. With the holidays coming, now's the perfect time to introduce your kids to this super cool program, the Greenlight Account. Get signed up today. Visit TrueMark.com/Greenlight for more information.
I should see the bro. Bro's chomping. Bro,
What's he eating?
He's always eating.
Primos, leftover Primos?
He's eating the
he's
Primos
definitely
in
got the
there,
Primo. Yeah, he's attacking the
It's
Primos.
never too early for Bro
You
to
better
eat.
save some of that.
No, no. All right, let's talk about Parks Casino. Parks Casino, Street Road, Bend, Salem. That's it. The Excite Center at Parks Casino. The casino of choice for yours truly is the number one spot. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Pennsylvania's number one casino right off the Street Road exit, 95 PA Turnpike. And here you go. We always tell you about the Excite Center and all the acts they have, top comedians, top musical acts. Here you go. Tickets on sale now. Thursday night, comedian Joe Conklin, who is just the greatest, and the City Rhythm Orchestra annual holiday show, 8 o'clock at Parks Casino. Mike Baldini doing Dominic the Donkey.
Tickety tick, it's Dominic the donkey. Tickety tick,
Tickety tick. Very good. The Italian Christmas Donkey. January 17th, comedian Jessica Kierson. January 18th, the reggae sounds of Shaggy.
But you call me on the counter?
Wasn't me. Yeah, I was listening to the other. He's also that, girl, you're an angel.
Oh,
Yeah. That's right. January 24th, actor Richard Kind from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Whoa, Larry, whoa, hey, whoa, Larry.
February 8th, Jerry Cantrell, Alice in Chains.
They come to snuff the rooster.
yeah. March 8th, magician Michael Carbonaro.
Hey, man, that's my number. How do you guess that?
Comedian Ron White, March 21st.
Can't fix stupid.
Country star Lee Brice on March 22nd.
There's a rumor going round about me and you.
Classic. Enjoy dinner and drinks before the show. Liberty Bell Gastropub, the Parks Grill Steakhouse, the Bamboo Noodle House, parkscasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
People are excited. Casper in the chat, he took an early lunch for the Cooper interview.
Oh,
So you
yeah?
can listen to it. Yeah.
Way to go, Cash. Yeah, man, I'm super fired up. That Coop, this is going to be fun, man.
Heck yeah.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. He just talking about this Eagles defense all morning has me giddy.
Yeah.
I'm just completely giddy.
How many times did you watch the tackle this morning?
Well, I was prepared for the interview, so I probably watched it, I don't know,
Woke up to it. Had it on the
25
TV.
times. Or on my phone. I watch it all the time.
Yeah, loop
I
on
do,
YouTube while he's driving. While he's
I
Went to
driving.
bed with it. Woke up
I
to
know,
it.
I love it. It's, it's my football happy place. All right, we got him? I think
got
so.
him. He's here.
All
Yep.
right, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Cooper Dejean, Cooper Shot. All right, I'm so excited. I've been talking about him for, it seems like the entire season, excited for him. And joining us right now, the slayer of King Henry, and Jamar Chase and Cooper Kupp. He is, of course, Cooper Dejean. Coop, what do you say, my man?
Hey, I appreciate you having me on.
Dude, I got to tell you, you are just a joy. You know what the greatest compliment, and I'm sure you've heard this a million times so far, is you're a football player. Like, you are a true blue football player.
Hey, that's what I love to do. Just go out there and be myself and be who I am on the football field. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it right now.
Well, let's kind of start from the beginning. Since you got into the lineup, this unit is number one in defense. It's number one in pass defense, and it's number one in a slew of other categories. What's been this whole transition like for you?
Yeah, it's been obviously I had an injury early in the season. So I had to take some time, try to get back fully healthy. And then while learning the defense at the same time, it's tough to learn a new defense without, being out on the field. So it was almost a blessing in disguise, to have those first 4 weeks to kind of get everything down and get my feet back under me. you know, and now, you know, be out there and be able to make an impact, you know, with a bunch of other, you know, talented players that we have on our defense. You know, so it's been fun.
Well, and then, you know, and you and Quignon are almost linked because of both being top draft picks and being in the second share in the secondary. And it's amazing that you guys have given this infusion of life in the back end. And it feels like, you know, that unit's just come together from, you know, Jalen and the guys up front to Zach Bond and to Kobe to you guys in the secondary. You guys are really playing like one.
Yeah, I think you know, ever since that bye week, you know, we kind of had to look ourselves in the mirror, you know, figure out what we needed to do to be better on the defensive side of the ball. You know, felt like we were playing too passive. You know, wanted to be more aggressive, and be more physical as a defense. You know, and I think we've done that. You know, and we need to continue to do that down the stretch. But we got a lot of young guys on our defense, which is great. You know, it's a lot of fun, you know, to play with those guys, and to be able to connect with them, you know, and be all on the same page when we're out there on the field. I think that's what helps the most.
Does that come from Iowa? Does the like your physicality? I can hit you all the cliches, like, you know, you have a nose for the ball, everywhere's around. Like it's so impressive. Does that come from Iowa? That whole experience?
I think it definitely plays a big part in it. You know, Iowa's it's kind of a old school program.
Yeah.
You know, physical, tough, hard nosed football. You know, we were hitting every day in practice. You know, they're making, you know, everybody run to the ball. You know, so I definitely think that plays a big part in the way that I play football.
You know what's amazing is that you were a quarterback in high school, and you got an offer to play quarterback at South Dakota State, and you said, "No, I'm going to go to Iowa and I'll play defensive back." What was that decision like? And you know, it's funny because I'm watching you as a returner, and you have such great instincts. And then it dawned on me about the quarterback thing. Like, you see things from an offensive standpoint too. What made you go the other route?
Yeah, it was tough at first because I really wanted to play quarterback in college. You know, but I didn't. I mean, Iowa was my only FBS offer. It was during COVID, so I couldn't take any visits. You know, and
Yeah.
Iowa was the school that I grew up watching and cheering for. I went to a lot of games as a kid. You know, and what Coach Parker's done there with defensive backs and, you know, the success they've had on defense. You know, I kind of looked at all that and decided, you know, why wouldn't I want to go to Iowa and put myself in a position to develop and have a chance to play at the highest level. You know, that's always been my dream. You know, to play at this level. You know, so why not go to a school that puts me in the best position to get there?
Yeah, I mean, man, that defense that you guys had was ridiculous. Like, you didn't give up anything. You guys were unbelievable. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think it's a testament, you know, to how our programs run and how our defense is run under Coach Parker. You know, he's a guy that wants everything perfect. You know, and that's what we strive for every day in practice. And I think it's pretty similar to Coach Fangio. You know, he's an old school guy. He wants everything perfect. You know, he's going to make sure he corrects the things that we do wrong and make sure that they don't hurt us more than once. You know, so there's a lot of similarities between the two defensive coordinators I played for.
It seems like you're comfortable with the old school kind of guy, right? Like, you know, the old school football guy. You seem like kind of right at home with.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I love, you know, going out and practicing and being coached and being coached hard. You know, and fixing things that I need to work on, and, you know, the coaches let me know what I need to work on. You know, to be better and to help this defense, play at a high level.
And Vic's cool. He's like that cool grandfather. he's got that cool way about him, like that cool older guy,
Oh yeah.
So I mean, Philadelphia is an old school place, and dude, I don't want to make you embarrassed, but the town is in love with you. I mean, everybody is. I mean, it's a beautiful thing because this city, it's very emotional. It's old school, emotional. It leads with its heart. It loves football, and they love players. And you come in, and the way you play, like you have this incredible way of playing with joy, and it's weird because you could see it. Like just watching you see, people get that vibe off you. A lot like Tyrese Maxey. Like when you watch Maxey play basketball, he plays with joy. And I get the same vibe from you, that you play with a joy, a happiness, that you love just being on that field.
Oh yeah, I love it every second of it. Ever since I was a kid, I love playing this game, and I try not to overthink too much and put too much into it. Obviously, there's studying that goes on throughout the week. To be able to prepare you and make you have a good feel about the opposing team. But I try not to put too much into it. I try to go out and be myself and play the game the way I know how to play the game. And the biggest part for me is having fun. When you're not having fun, I mean, it's football kind of sucks, So I put football's a fun game for me, and I'm gonna make sure I show that I'm having fun out there on the field.
Yeah, I love that about you. I do. It's funny. I have two kids that play, and I say, listen, practice sucks, right? It's not fun, but the game is fun, right? Like that's your reward. Your reward is when you play. If you put all the work in, it's fun, right? Like that's the lesson of football.
Oh yeah. I mean, the work never stops. With this game, it's such a physical, highly demanding game. So you gotta make sure you're able to put in the work to be able to play at a high level, and then when you're out there on the football field, just go and let it rip. Really, that's my thought process.
So take me through a couple plays. Let's go with the Jamar Chase play, because it's a huge play in the game, right? Like, he's about to get the first down, and then here you are.
Yeah, we were in man-to-man. They were obviously Jamar Chase, one of the best receivers in the league, and in big moments they're going to try and get him the ball. So I was kind of, once he was going back and forth in that motion, I was chasing him. I knew they were trying to kind of try to set up a pick, to get him the ball and get him out in space, get an easy first down. But luckily I was able to, make my way through all the traffic and come downhill and make the tackle. I don't think enough credit goes to Isaiah Rodgers, who was on the other side, who was on the guy who was essentially, trying to pick me. He got up and pressed him and made sure he couldn't get off the line. So I was able to have a lane to run around and run downhill to make that tackle.
The angle that you took was just perfect. I think about this because you play basketball, and I think you understand movement, and it feels like that. Like, and having the right proper angle is everything when you're going to be a D-back. And it felt like that skill set was right there because Chase is so elusive, and you took the perfect angle to blow him up. Yeah,
100%. I think that's what a lot of football is taking the right angles. In basketball, and playing all those sports has helped me, in each of the other one. So I think, like I said, football's about angles, and you need to take the right angles, especially on a good play like that. So he doesn't try and make you miss. And then when you take your angle and when you get there, just go ahead and shoot your shot.
All right, so then let's go through the Cooper Cup, because another one, Sunday Night Football, right? Like the whole world's watching, and that they're trying to get Cup, and that's going to be a matchup for you. Middle of the field, he works the middle of the field. That's your domain.
Yeah, that matchup was a lot of fun. He's a really good receiver. And trying to cover him, it was tough. He's him and Puka, both of them. They're both good receivers. But I think we had a good game plan going in to that game to try and contain them. The biggest thing with them, they're going to catch the ball, but after once they catch the ball, it's being able to tackle them, because they're really good with the ball in their hand. So that was a big emphasis. So I thought we did a good job of that in that game.
Oh my God! I mean, and what's been interesting is like the first one or two drives, it feels like it's a feeling out process, and then the adjustment comes, and like in that game, you went 3 and outs. You gave them right after that second drive. It's like you clamped down. Again on Sunday, it's 9-0, and then all of a sudden, clamp down.
Yeah, I think obviously we wish we could limit that and start out faster. But it's always when a team's got their first 15 plays that they set up, specifically for your defense. It's definitely a challenge to go out there and try and stop those. But we know it's possible. But you just gotta feel them out, almost like you said. And then once you feel them out, you gotta start honing in on the things that they're showing you. And come together as a defense, talk about everything. And then go out there and figure out how to get stops.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's fantastic. Like, getting stops in this league is hard. All right, like it's hard. Let alone the Rams, who have Stafford and all those weapons, Kyron Williams and those receivers, and to be able to just after that pitch, almost a shutout is impressive. Like, I mean, Lamar, you see how he's ridiculous, right? Like that throw to Andrews was sick. And you guys stepped up, man. I got to tell you, the whole town couldn't be more proud of what you guys have accomplished.
Yeah, I think, that's we love and appreciate the support, But the biggest thing for us is the ability to move on, and move on, week to week. Because it's a National Football League.
Yeah.
Every other team's got great players too. So we got to be able to move on week to week, and put our best foot forward each and every Sunday we're out on that field, because you never know what's going to happen in this league. So we got to continue to prepare ourselves throughout the week to be able to play our best on Sundays.
All right, so I'm going to ask you about the play, right? The tackle. It's like the greatest tackle we were talking about. I can't tell you. Yesterday, I think I watched it 100 times, right? It was so perfectly textbook. And so I coached the kids, right? So you're teaching them how to tackle the whole thing. That was so perfect, so textbook. Like you did every coach in the Delaware and Philadelphia a favor by doing that. Take us through it. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, I was in my coverage, and came downhill. Saw him check it down late. Caught him right when he was turning around. Was just able to run right through him. But that goes back to every Wednesday practice that we do. We do a similar. We do a lot of tackling drills. We do a similar drill to that, where we're coming downhill and trying to drive through a guy. Which is I think that's the part that I love about playing for Coach Sirianni. He understands the details and the little things that we need to be great at in order to be a good football team. and tackling is one of those things. So I think all that work throughout the weeks that we've had, helped me make that tackle.
Did it dawn on you that it was Derrick Henry? Like today, like when you think about it, it's funny. I was watching a game last night, and he does that State Farm commercial, and he's pulling refrigerators and living room sets, and all I keep thinking about is Coop just put him on the ground.
Hey, trust me, I felt when it was Derrick Henry right when I hit him. He's a big dude. I felt it a little bit too.
The greatest was the reaction of your teammates, and I think that tells a big story because they were loving it, man. Like it was so cool, and watching guys celebrate for other guys is, to me, the essence of football, right? Because it's such a team game, and their reaction I thought was priceless.
Yeah. I loved, when I was watching it back, watching the whole sideline, which was really cool. You can tell guys are having fun, and that's a good sign in a football team. Is when everybody's having fun. And I think we're doing that right now.
All right, so I got to ask you, what? It's Philadelphia, right? So we're about feeding people. What's been your effect? And listen, Cooper Sharp, right? You got to love that. Like I know you met Danny from Angelo's. I know you're eating crab fries. What's been your favorite so far?
I've enjoyed all the places I've been to. Angelo's is probably, I'd put it up there, probably my favorite cheesesteak that I've had out here. And then you mentioned Chickies and Pete's. I was just there last night doing a radio show. Pete's a great guy. Been there a couple times. But I've enjoyed getting out in the city and seeing all the different places there are. I've enjoyed it coming from Iowa, and where I come from, a small town. You don't have all these food places around. I come from like kind of farm country a little bit. So you have to drive 30 to 45 minutes to get fast food or whatever you want. So it's cool to have these places around and go and check them out.
Yeah, and it's funny, the culture shock. You seem to really embrace it. Where you're from, I covered a lot of football and a lot of stuff being out your way, and it's such a beautiful area, right? So it's so different coming here. What's been the biggest thing? And also, people don't know this, that you do a lot of charity work each week during your off day. And you got to tell us a little bit about that too.
Yeah, it's been a big adjustment, coming out here, small town to a big city. I haven't lived outside Iowa before, so it's been an adjustment, but I think it's going well. And then being able to get out in the community, I think has helped me make that adjustment. To see the impact I can make on people, we can make on people as a football team. Whether we're at the hospital visiting kids at the hospital. I enjoyed doing that. That's something we did back in Iowa City with the children's hospital that we have there. We did a turkey drive, which was really awesome. Food packaging, we did for food bank, which was really cool. So there's been a lot of things that I've done in the community that have been great. It's something I love to do, is get out and meet people and make an impact in the community that I'm in.
I think that's beautiful, man. I really do. I want to introduce you to my buddy, Violations Greg, who's a man about the city. And we're all in love with you. He's got a couple things for you.
Man, I tried to get an Iowa hat in time for this interview. I couldn't score one. And so I want to ask you 5 quick rapid fire off the top of your head questions just to get to know you, so people get to know a little more about the person that is Cooper Dejean. What is your favorite candy?
Favorite candies, Skittles.
Nice. He's number 2 in the state of Iowa NBA basketball scoring.
Oh yeah.
Who was your favorite NBA player growing up?
Favorite NBA player was LeBron James.
What's your worst school subject?
Science.
Yeah, me too.
Your favorite back home comfort food?
I think steak and mashed potatoes.
Oh, nice. Meat potato, man. He'll love Baldy. He'll love it.
Yes, steak, baby.
And if you were a baseball player, what would be your walk-up song?
Walk-up song. I think the next episode.
Nice.
Walk-up song.
Nice. Hey, real quick too, can we get what is the celebration you're doing?
It's a team celebration that we came up with. It's kind of like after you make a big hit, kind of calm down. So we came up with that in our defensive meeting the other day, which is cool.
I'm going to make a prediction that at some point Bryce Harper will be on second base doing it.
Yeah, he'll be doing the same thing. Yes. You know what's crazy, Coop, is that the whole, being an Eagle fan, I think you've come to understand this. It goes deep. How about how they travel to Los Angeles? Right? Like everywhere you go, it's part of something special, like being an Eagle fan.
Yeah, it's great, to see all the Eagles fans at away games, kind of almost making it like home games, which is that game in LA was dang near a home game for us.
Right.
How many Eagle fans were there, and you wouldn't think that, because Philly's all the way across the country. But it's cool to see how passionate these fans are, and how well they travel. We definitely notice it and appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, it's wild. Like we had people from England and Ireland and Scotland who were Eagles fans who came in for a game a couple weeks ago. all like the movie stars, right? Like Bradley Cooper, Kevin Hart, like everybody. And it's the coolest thing. It's like it's like this big family, Coop, that and you're like a perfect addition to this family.
Yeah, I'm happy to be a part of the family. I love the fans in Philly already. It's been great. I'm just gonna continue to try and go out there and give it my all each and every week. And same with everybody else on our squad. Just continue to prepare and go out and have fun on the football field and play as physical as we know how.
How has your family been out?
Yeah, they made it to most of the games actually, which is really cool. They've loved every second of it. Being out here, being in the link, at the away games. The link's a special place. It gets wild, especially those night games. I come in for those night games. Off. I think it's 95, and it's early. It's in the morning, and I see people tailgating already. Outside the stadium, which is crazy. For an 8:15 game out here. So
it's a lot.
I found out quick.
It's a lot like college. Like when you think about it, it's a lot like Iowa, right? Like football matters and. These games are like big celebration holidays. It's very similar.
Yeah, it is. Football is kind of what revolves around, or Iowa City revolves around Hawkeye football, and it seems like Philly revolves around Eagle football out here. Which is really really awesome. I love it. Love how passionate the fans are, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Who got you in love with football? Who made you fall in love with it?
I think my parents and and grandparents, from a young age. I love playing all sports, growing up, and they understood that, and they helped drive that passion, whether it was, going to the baseball field, going to the basketball courts, running routes in the backyard, throwing the football around. My parents and grandparents, they were there every step of the way, making sure I was happy, because if I wasn't playing sports out in the backyard, no one wanted to play with me, I wasn't going to be too happy, so they made sure to help out with that.
God love you, dude. God bless you a million times. You're fantastic. I got to tell you, you're the best. I have this conversation with my kids all the time, and I reference you way too many times, because they play, and we go in the backyard. Do you want to be like Cooper? You want to take down Derrick Henry? This is what you got to do. My brother, listen, thank you, man. You're a treasure, pal. All right?
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Oh, my God, please. You made our day. Wow, are you kidding me? The Coop?
Dude, he's the best. The best. He's
What
such a likable dude.
Oh, my God, what a kid.
Like, if he's here, he's going to be an all-timer.
Playing in the backyard. Oh, yeah. Like,
all-timer.
You know why? Because the simplicity of, like, here's a kid in Iowa playing in his backyard. Every sport, right? Baseball, football, basketball. Like, that is the essence of sports. And that plays here.
Yeah. It's outrageous he didn't get any big-time, like, recruits.
Dude, he was a quarterback. He was a really good quarterback in college, in high school.
Dude.
And, here he is. He goes to – and that's that's that sport, right? Like, where, he winds up going to Iowa to be a defensive back.
It's wild. His senior year, 3,400 yards passing with 35 touchdowns. He ran for 1,200 yards with 24 touchdowns.
I know. Well, you can see he's got an eye for. That's why I asked. Like, he's got an eye for offense and return. He's a good returner. I would use him in a return game in the playoffs.
Any game that matters, because he runs with authority and force.
Yes, he does. Yes,
he's going to
does.
break one.
All right, we got to get out of here, and it's time for the Rite Aid back in the day moment. Back.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day with Rite Aid. Yeah!
All right, what do we got?
We're going 35 years ago, December 3rd, 1989. The Meadowlands. 12 minutes remaining in the game. Fourth quarter, tied up at 17-7 after taking a sack that was nearly a safety. Randall Cunningham nails his 91-yard punt to change everything.
Cunningham standing back on the inline. A good kick. A super kick.
Super kick.
Gets away from Megan. Still running away from Megan.
Look at that.
Megan down at about the 15.
In their end zone.
What a job.
He's a quarterback.
That is unbelievable.
I think he has some John Facenda.
A quarterback takes a sack and then comes back and punts the ball 91 yards.
When the mood turned ugly with the Eagles pinned deep, Randall closed the fans' mouths with his foot.
Look at that.
Gets the snap. He steps forward. It's a beauty. A deep spiral. Megan watches it bounce. It's rolling across the 30.
Truly the last of the triple threats. Cunningham unleashed an amazing 91-yard punt to
cool. All right, there it is. Our Rite Aid back in the day moment. All right, that's going to do it for us. What a fun day.
Yeah. Go Sixers.
Well, come on. You got to have something, man. All right. Come on, Frazier.
Yeah, right.
All right, everybody. We love you. Have a great day. We'll see you in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.